It is time for racing's greatest spectacle. It's the Daytona 500 here in Daytona Beach, Florida, to kick off Season 3 for the NASCAR Verizon Cup Series. 40 drivers line on the grid to take on this big 2.5 speedy, grueling racetrack. 500 miles to determine who wins the third Daytona 500. Chevy's won it back-to-back years, but with new rookies, new drivers, new faces, and a new car for the Chevys, will they be able to tack on another 500 championship? And it all starts on the pole. Alex Bowman, the rookie, on the pole for the Daytona 500. Hendrick's third straight pole for the Daytona 500. Can they bring home their second Daytona 500, dating back to Jimmy Johnson back 2 years ago in Season 1? We'll see if Alex Bowman can do it from the pole. Brad Keselowski, he's on the outside pole, but he crashed in his duel. So that means he'll have to go to a backup car for this race, losing his front row starting spot. The two has been able to climb up through the field at Talladega to win races, but how about in Daytona? Then you have your dual winners. Austin Dillon won Duel 1, Eric Almirola won Duel 2. They'll start third and fourth, respectively. Almirola will get to move up to the outside pole position. Austin Dillon won at New Hampshire to get his first career win last year. Can the iconic number 3 find victory lane in the 500 once again? Kevin Harvick, the defending champion, he rolls off in the 5th position. He almost won Duel 1. Harvick was so close last year at winning the Daytona 500, led 64 laps. Can Harvick find redemption and win his first Daytona 500? Team Penske, they've been fast all week. Joey Logano, he's won here in 2016 in July. Ryan Blaney was the fastest car in final practice on Friday. Both Penske Fords look fast and both look to bring home their first 500s. Logano finished third in 2017 and wrecked from the lead on the white flag 2 years ago. And then you have to talk about the guy who won this race last year. Chris Buescher rolls off deep in the pack in his number 37. That's where he won it last year. He started 27th, I believe, last year and won the Daytona 500. Both will have to start from the back. Martin Truex Jr. in the 78 almost won the championship last year. He's not been close to a Daytona 500, but he said to make up, he'll win the Great American Race after that loss in Kansas. He'll have to start mid-pack as well. We'll see what the 78 can do. When I said both champions have to start in the back, Jimmy Johnson, a horrible dual race on Thursday. He will start from the back as well. That's where he won it in 2016. He started 34th out of the 36 cars in the field. Can the 48 go to victory lane for the second time, be a two-time 500 champion? Let's send it down for some pre-race ceremonies.
Famous words in motorsports for the 60th running of the Daytona 500. Please welcome Grand Marshal, two-time Daytona 500 champion, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Welcome to the sold-out 2018 Daytona 500. Drivers, start your engines!
And as the cars roll off, let's take a look at your 2018 Daytona 500 starting lineup. In row 1, Alex Bowman next to Brad Keselowski, who'll have to go to the back. That's why his name is in yellow. Then the dual winners, Austin Dillon and Eric Almirola in row 2. Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney make up row 3. Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, best friends, make up row 4. And then it's Eric Jones and Paul Menard who make up row 5. Clint Bowyer and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in row 6. And then it's Chase Elliott and the Rocket Man Ryan Newman who make up row 7. Row 8, Kyle Larson next to Denny Hamlin, and then it's the rookie Bubba Wallace and Martin Truex Jr. in row number 9. Row 10, Michael McDowell next to Ty Dillon in the 13, and row 11, it's the Bane Train next to Kurt Busch. Row 12, Daniel Suarez, second year of the 19, next to Brian Scott coming back in the 44. Then you have Chris Buescher and Matt DiBenedetto in row 13. Row 14, Casey Kane next to Corey LaJoie, and then row 15, Ryan Reed next to Joey Gase. Row 16 is the Dinger next to Landon Castle coming back to make a one-off start. Danica Patrick in her final NASCAR start next to William Byron in row 17. Jimmy Johnson and David Reagan in row 18, and row 19, Reed Sorensen and Jimmy McMurray. And then rounding out the field, it's Greg Galding and Cody Ware. Lowe's race facts for the 500, 200 laps, 500 miles. The stages 1 and 2 are 60 laps each. Stage 3 is 80 laps. Your fuel window just over 40 laps. Grip level 4, so it's very slick out there on this sunny Daytona afternoon. Chevy has won the last 2 Daytona 500s. We'll see if a different manufacturer can find success in this third great American race for the NASCAR Verizon Cup Series. Green flag and a new season of the VCS is underway. On board with Ryan Blaney, who's behind Eric Almirola, and it's Alex Bowman who leads lap 1 of the Daytona 500. As the leaders come to turn 3, car around in turn 1, that is Joey Gase in the 83 who brings out the first caution of the Daytona 500 on lap 32. It looks like it's a left rear tire down and tries to get out of the way, and whoa! What a good job by William Byron and Landon Castle to avoid the spinning 83. Yeah, he definitely had a left rear tire down or something. And then he tried to get out of the way, but he spun right down in front of the field. But he'll grab some 4 fresh, and so will the rest of the field, and we will keep going in this Daytona 500. Big run on the bottom. Whoa, and around goes Paul Menard and collects Kyle Larson. And we have a caution on lap number 46. Let's take a look at what happened here. The bottom got a run, and I think Clint Bowyer, that outside line started stacking up a little bit. He turned Paul Menard right into Kyle Larson. And a good job by Ryan Newman to avoid the 31 right there in the middle. That could have been big, but thank goodness those two both spun to the inside. Just a little bit of damage to both cars, and they'll both be able to continue. One lap to go in Stage 1. Can Chase Elliott win the first stage of the year? Blaney has 2 other Fords of Almirola and Harvick on the top. Eric Jones trying to lead Austin Dillon in that middle line of the front. Elliott with the nose ahead. He has the help from Stenhouse. Run coming on the top, though, with Blaney and Almirola. Oh, and Almirola almost got turned. He came down in front of Eric Jones, but he abandons his teammate in Kevin Harvick. Side by side still. Almirola, will he jump up to the top with Harvick? Yes, he will. Up to the top now goes Blaney and Almirola. But off at turn 4 to end Stage 1, it's going to be Chase Elliott. And we got a crash in the back. That's Chris Buescher, Alex Bowman, and others. And the caution to end Stage 1 and a big crash to follow it up. Let's take a look at this. Bad camera angle, but it just looks like Chris Buescher probably got turned. And I think it was A.J. Allmendinger who turned him. And man, a lot of cars involved in this wreck. Exactly what it looks like. Just looked like Buescher got turned simply, and he collected Trevor Bayne, Matt DiBenedetto, in this crash. Alex Bowman dug into the dirt, and that tore up the splitter on that car. Here it is in super slow motion. Oh, Trevor Bayne, he almost went overboard there in the number 6. He almost flipped over. Oh, and Brian Scott in one of his final races, and he collects Casey Kane. Man, and the big one strikes early at the end of stage 1 at the back of the pack. See, there's Bowman, Scott, DeBenedetto, Ty Dillon. Right by the entrance of pit road. And you have cars making repairs. See Allmendinger and Bain going to the garage. Castle and Danica Patrick. Didn't even see Danica spin. Casey Kane going to the garage as well, number 95. He has a lot of damage to the front end of that Pro Core, number 95. And Chris Buescher, the defending 500 champion, goes out early in this race. Here are the cars involved again. See a lot of big names in this wreck. A lot of underdogs who really could have made a splash in this race. Guys like A.J. Allmendinger, Trevor Bayne led some laps in the July race in 2016. Here are the results to Stage 1. Chase Elliott getting the stage win to kick off the season with Blaney Stenhouse, the podium spots. But we'll get this wreck cleaned up and we'll get them racked and stacked for Stage 2 in the 2018 Daytona 500. Stay with us here. Here comes the top with Joey Logano. We got a car spinning in turn 3. That's the 27 of Corey LaJoie, who brings out the caution. Let's take a look at what happened to LaJoie. He's in the second pack. Looks like he's got loose, clipped the apron, and maybe some contact with Joey Gase. Got him around turn 3. It's been a bit of a trouble spot for the Cup Series here in the Speed Weeks. But he'll be able to continue. There's the train there on the top side. Oh, and Ryan Blaney! What a big hit to the outside wall! And we got cars spinning in the grass. And the big one strikes again, this time going into the tri-oval here at Daytona on lap 104. What a shot by Ryan Blaney to the outside wall. He collects Bubba Wallace, who is having a great race. Austin Dillon as well. After a really good dual race on Thursday, Kevin Harvick and guys on pit road. Looks like some damage to him and Ryan Newman. And Clint Boyer going to the garage. Really positive this weekend. Really thought he had a chance to win the 500. He will not do so. Let's take a look at this replay. Hard to tell. I just think Chase Elliott simply pushed Ryan Blaney around. You know, these new Camaros have a very pointed front nose that do not align very well to the back bumpers of even other Camaros. This looks like this pushed Blaney around. The tri-oval, a very light place for these cars, can easily lose control. And oh, what a shot by Ryan Blaney. See McDowell and McMurray spinning into the grass. Let's check out this hit in super slow-mo here. I'm going to slow it down right here. Look at that 12 car. Look at that. What a shot head on to the outside wall. And man, Kevin Harvick, he almost got out of this. He gets tagged by Bubba Wallace late. But in total, about 9 cars collected in this big crash in the tri-oval. So you hear all the names involved: McMurray, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, Blaney, Boyer, Newman, McDowell, and Bubba Wallace. So we'll get this all cleaned up, and we'll see who takes home Stage 2 of the Great American Race at Daytona. Stick around to see who, in the end, wins the Daytona 500 here on ASC. Final lap of Stage 2. Stenhouse pushing Almirola. Watch Brad Keselowski in that white car on the top side. He's going to get a run with Kyle Busch. Kurt Busch there in the middle. He's trying to lead that line to the front. What will Stenhouse do? He goes up to the top to cover Keselowski. That leaves Chase Elliott on the bottom. Stenhouse back to the inside. Chase Elliott has Jimmy Johnson and William Byron pushing him. Here comes Keselowski with a run, but he has no help with him. And off at turn number 4, Eric Almirola, who's had a strong race so far. Stenhouse, what will he do to the line? Almirola takes Stage 2, and here are the Stage 2 results. What a great job at holding off the field there by Eric Almirola as everyone was trying to charge in there and grab some stage points. Here comes Elliott on the bottom. We got a crash At the back of the pack, about a 4-car accident that involves William Byron, Ryan Reed, Jamie McMurray. Looks like he was in that crash as well. Let's take a look at what happened. Otis Danica was just pushing William Byron in the middle of the corner. That's not a way that Danica Patrick wants to end her race. Looks like McMurray got some heavy damage as well, as Byron spun right up the racetrack and collected those 3 other cars with him. So it looks like the end of the day for most of these cars in this accident. Definitely William Byron and Danica Patrick won't be able to continue. Don't know about McMurray and Reed. McMurray is on pit road fixing the damage, but Ryan Reed, he's now going to the garage. He's done. That number 16, too much damage to continue. That sucks. He's only making 2 starts this season. McMurray, he's patching up that number 1. He'll go 2 laps down, but he'll still continue in this race. So we'll see if he can able to keep up with the lead pack, but unfortunately not so lucky for William Byron and Danica Patrick. We'll be right back from Daytona. When do these guys make their pit stops? We got a car slow, and that's going to bring out a caution for Cody Ware, who looks like may have expired an engine on the back straightaway. He was running with Daniel Suarez, who got a speeding penalty. He just pulls off the racetrack. I guess NASCAR called a caution. Busch to the lead. Oh, and around goes Johnson. He collects his teammates, and a big crash going into turn number 3. And this collects the other defending 500 champion, Jimmy Johnson. And looks like Chase Elliott pushed him around again. So Chase Elliott strikes another one off his front bumper, and he goes hard into Jimmy Johnson's door. Paul Menard in this crash, Eric Jones, Martin Truex, and basically some of the best cars left get involved in this crash. Look at it again. Stenhouse, he almost spun out there. Johnson made some contact with him, but he was able to stay straight. Kyle Larson went through the grass in the 42. Oh, a big hit for Newman as well. As look at that. Bunch of cars in turn number 3 destroyed. When one of them, Chase Elliott, who's one of the favorites to win this race, still looking for that first career win. And that new number 9 car is mangled there in turn number 3. Jimmy Johnson in this crash too. He won't win his second Daytona 500, the new Lowe's scheme for this year. Kurt Busch as well. He's a veteran who still hasn't won the 500. Eric Jones, last year's Rookie of the Year, replacing Matt Kenseth. He is all mangled up as well in turn 3. And a lot of good contenders in this race. Martin Truex, he was staying alive, and he was moving his way up to the field, just not enough, and he could not stay away from this big crash. Menard and Kevin Harvick, they're going to try and repair their cars. Second crash either of them have been in. Second big one that Harvick's been involved in today. And the field's under a red flag on the front straightaway, waiting for this cleanup. But it'll be Kyle Busch leading to the restart. We'll most likely have overtime in this race. Heavy damage to Harvick and Menard. You can see all the repairs on their cars. So the field will pit as you can look at the cars involved in this wreck. I count 9 involved. A lot of good contenders in this race. But we'll have a new 500 champion for 2018. And it looks like they're getting this all cleaned up. Some excessive cleanup as well there in turn number 3, where the third big one of the day has happened. But they're pitting. 4 cars have actually stayed out. The question is, can they make it on fuel? Guess we'll find out. One lap to go in the Daytona 500. Can Ricky Stenhouse bring it home? He's down to block Kyle Busch, but I wouldn't leave those 2 Penske cars on the top. Right on board with Stenhouse as he goes through turn 1 and 2 with the front bumper cam. Kyle Busch with a run. Stenhouse down to block it. Logano trying to back up that top line. Here they come down the back straightaway. There he is. He's trying to back up the run. He's going to get a run into turn number 3. Stenhouse, he can't block. Oh, a big hit for Ricky Stenhouse, and he gets driven in again by Daniel Suarez. Back to the checkered flag. Joey Logano, after 2 years, is finally a 500 champion. He wrecked from the lead in 2016, and he pushed the winner in 2017, and he will finally win his Daytona 500's Ricky Stenhouse. You know, it's the biggest race of his career. He tried to block Logano into turn 3, and even if he was clear, I think that car still might have spun out. It was a risky block, and oh my gosh, that car took a wild hit to the outside wall. Look at this. Man, that car almost blew upside down. And then he got hit again from Daniel Suarez. And thank goodness he dropped the window net just now. He is okay. That other big hit from Daniel Suarez was vicious too. I'm going to try to slow this down. Look at this. Oh, that was in real time. Just a huge hit. But Joey Logano burns it down in Daytona, and here's your Daytona 500 champion. So you take a look at your results for the Daytona 500. Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. Penske 1-2 in this race. As Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, your top 5. Landon Castle, the first Chevy, in 6th. Greg Gaulding coming home in 11th. So you see Suarez and Stenhouse DNF, but still finishes at the top 15. And in the end, it was all about survival in this Daytona 500. Just like last year, 3 big crashes. So you look at all these guys on back just were involved in wrecks. Sucks for all of them. Most of them are having great Daytona 500. See, these guys are from the first and second big crashes. Unbelievable. Probably one of the best Great American races we've had here in the Verizon Cup Series. Here are the points, though. Logano's locked in. After having one win all of last year, he gets the win here in Daytona. Has still a long season to go. So guys like Greg Gaulding and even David Reagan, they're not going to stand a chance here by the end of the second race, maybe even the third race if they get lucky. But here are the guys who are on the outside, guys like Blaney, Truex. I bet they find their way back into the playoffs. Johnson. But the next race is at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500, which was dominated by Kevin Harvick. So we'll see if Kevin Harvick can get his revenge at Atlanta. So catch the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 right here on ASC Sunday. The highlights will be posted up at 9 o'clock Eastern for this race. This is American Sports Coverage. Hope you enjoy the Daytona 500. Signing off.